And now we wait and see if this works correctly and hope it actually works the way it says it's working. And I think it is. So, we're gonna go with that. And I'm gonna be happy. Hello and welcome back to our weekly paint and chat. It was a rough day. I had the day off and I spent all of it playing World of Warcraft. It was so wonderful. But I'm a responsible adult and also have miniatures to paint, and I think some of you do too. So let's hang out and get some minis painted. I hope everybody in the chat's doing okay while we all get started and let people kind of get into the thing, into the live stream. I'll just sort of go over some base stuff of what I am doing. So I am painting up these guys. The Sepulchral Guard. Beautiful guys. Really cool. I like them. They're my deadites, and I've gotten most of them painted, but I have 3 left to go. So we've got, you know, Duder, who likes to who wants to crawl up from the wall, or the ground. He's got a cool sword and shield, looking really good. And then another dude who has a helmet. So these are the last 3 of the dudes I have to paint. Actually, I think I can show you who I have ready. As always, I want to preemptively, because I always forget by the end, thank Paul for hanging out in the stream, moderating, watching my back. It's very much appreciated. And let me grab my other Sepulchral Guard, but I want to know what you guys are working on tonight, because, you know, it's Wednesday night, we've got to get our models painted. Let's, you know, what are you working on? And, yeah, what are you working on? I'll be back. Sepulchral Guard here. Haha. Found them so fast. Check it out. So here's like Duder 1. He's a leader. I started off with him actually. Just jumped right into it. We've got our next guy. He was super fun. I love his scythe. He's got such a great expression going on there. Brian, welcome. Ty, welcome. Harry, welcome. 54mm scale French line infantry. So those are the big guys. All right, well, that's really cool. So I imagine they kind of take a while because more of the details show up, right? Hey, come on, get it. Come on, camera. This is what happens when I let it autofocus. There we go. He's supposed to paint. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, he's actually one of my favorites too. And then this guy. So I changed up my technique on how I'm actually doing the skeletal part, the bone. Oh my gosh, this is frustrating. I'll fix that. Nice work, thank you. So anyway, I'm getting the rest of them to this point. So that's the goal. We'll see what I can do in 2 hours. And, well, I'll get to it in a moment. Too early to work from Australia. That's totally fair. I appreciate you being here at all, honestly. It's just Miranda tonight. Yes, it's just me. There's a reason for that. Working on some Necrons. That's awesome. They're really cool looking. Every gator button. Been working on Tyranid Raveners. Nice work. So, do you do the purple theme with them, or has anyone ever done a lockdown? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm working on a huge AdMech army at the moment. That'll keep you busy. The AdMech are also super fun to paint. So, all right, what have I got here? Nutmeg brown, and then I dry brush. Oh gosh, what are all the colors I do? This is a problem when I take a while between painting, then I forget what I do. Metal is metal. Leather is brown. Any of the fabric here is always going to be red. That's just the theme because I do the simple color method. Simple colors. All right. So we know the antique white is going over it. I just have to remember how I did that. And black wash and then antique white over it, I guess. Okay. Now that I've remembered. How is everybody tonight? Just popping in to say hello. Well, welcome, Mr. Bacon. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you hanging out. The other reason that it's just me tonight is because, like I said, I've been playing World of Warcraft Classic all day since it launched. This is a game I've quit a dozen times at least because it has something I really love, but then, like, it just is terrible to their player base, and then I leave, and then, you know, I give them another chance for each new expansion, and after a while, I was done. But with Classic, it goes back to what I played 15 years ago and what I really remember. And apparently I'm not the only one who feels that way, because when you join the queue to get into Classic WoW, it's like 5,000. So I'm not gonna let that happen. I am logged in and I'm not gonna let myself log out. So bear with me if I occasionally flip back to the game, fish a little, and come back to painting. So just fair warning, that's happening. Games Workshop used to have an overnight event where you purchased a unit, built it, primed it, painted it. We'd do an overnight after the store would close and you'd stay there till morning. Oh gosh, I would just fall asleep though. Purple theme, yes. Purple carapace, dark blue exoskeleton, Gene Stealer purple skin, Xandri dust claws. Nice. G Daddy Gamer, I have a Murloc tattoo. Well, there you go. So, you're saying you're a fan? I don't know that I get a World of Warcraft themed tattoo, but I don't have any tattoos, so, why would I do any of that? Okay, I've got my water cup, got my paintbrush water cup. Hopefully I don't confuse the two. Let's get started. So, as usual, first deal is first. Base coat, base coat, base coat. And these guys need some serious base coats. I'm also going to adjust the camera because while that focus is nice when it works, it's really irritating. Well, maybe it'll work. We'll do Helmet Man. He seems like a good place to start. I'll take my lovely nutmeg brown. Craft paint, yes, it's fine. Because you know what? Non-oil washes make everything look great. I wonder how many Murlocs I've killed. Oh my gosh. How many of you in the chat have played World of Warcraft before? I mean, it's a grind. It legitimately is like a long grind of a game. That said, it's kind of magical. I don't know how to describe it to people who aren't interested in playing necessarily. Alright, so that front part looks like it's metal, and then his skeletal part is underneath. Is that what's going on here? I don't know, it's weird. Sam, I used to play today. You used to play WoW, okay. Are you thinking of continuing the Space Hulk videos? One of the best on YouTube, why thank you. I am. One of the issues that was tying that up was having a dedicated space, which I now have, and so now I'm out of excuses and I just need to do it. I mean, time is still the issue. I have to dedicate, I have to make sure I have the time set aside for it. Then, it's battle reports, so you have to get somebody else to be part of it, playing the game, come over, be willing to be here for hours and hours while we get the get the game recorded, make sure to shoot it so it looks so pretty. Oh, the Space Hulk battles, I do so love them. I'm a little intimidated too because I believe Mission 3 is actually a particularly in-depth one, and so it's gonna take some setup. It's a much bigger board, and so, we just have to prep it. It'll happen. That is the plan. I like doing them. Space Hulk, Kill Team, War Machine eventually. I've got some cool stuff lined up for that. Are any of you in the chat actually playing War Machine right now? Have you been playing any of the Oblivion stuff? I have not touched it. I've seen friends play WoW, never tried it myself. Paul, I don't blame you. I don't know that I can honestly recommend it, because while I think it's sort of a magical, amazing time, the addiction level of it is really severe, and I know people who dropped out of college playing that game. In fact, I went to Kill Team Night on Monday, brought my Catachan Scion dudes, and we were talking about WoW, and the guy I was playing against, we did a 3-way game, which was hilarious. Anyway, he was a lawyer, and he said when he was in law school, one of his friends dropped out of law school because of WoW. So, you know, it's good and bad. It's just so good at being like another world. So, whatever. Good old space Hulk, I know. 12 Neef, well, I understand you can't stay long. Appreciate you popping in. Hope you're doing well. Who else have we got here? Just need a little more attention to the... Just needs a little bit more attention to the core roles. Fair enough. Working on a Reaver for Adeptus Titanicus. Very nice. Girls didn't play tabletop war games when I played back in the 90s. Well, I was very young, so I'm sorry I wasn't there. I was too busy playing video games and being told girls didn't do that. Which hasn't been true for, what, 20 years now? So, 20? Yeah, gosh. That's crazy. So, it is what it is, my friend. My brother played WoW for many years. He told me it's basically like putting a carrot in front of a horse. You know, it's going to keep sucking you back in with new content all the time. But, I mean, you say that, but WoW isn't going to be new content. WoW is going to be old content that stays exactly where it is, you know, before any expansions. And a bajillion people are on board for this. I think Twitch the other night, if you wanted to watch World of Warcraft Classic, had 800,000 people watching it. I mean, it's more than new content. It really is, I think, the world, the community that they lost with the retail version of it. How long does a typical battle report take to film? I'd like to try making them, but haven't thought about how long it would take to film it. So it depends on what you are doing. Banter bat reps, you know, they don't take much longer than just playing the regular game, because you're recording and playing and everything's very live and natural. If you're doing a battle report like I am, there are certain things that are going to hang it up. It probably takes 3 to 4 times as long as a normal game to record one in my style, just because there's so many moments of stopping, getting this angle on the model, taking a look at it, taking a look at the movement this way. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Which hand are you moving it with? Trying to get the other hand so that your arm doesn't block the models, failing half the time. Either way, it takes a while. And sometimes there's, you know, redone movements, like, oh, you moved him here, well, actually, you know, put him back, move him again, but I've got this angle now. Because you can't fast play the game, and it can be kind of weird because it'll affect how you play it, because now you're having to think almost in slow motion. So it is different, but it ends up creating, I think, something that's just more enjoyable to watch. It's probably just not as fun to play. See new Skellyman. Hi Owen, how are you doing? Yes, well, these are old Skellymen. I've just been taking my time painting them. These are the Sepulchral Guard from Shadespire, or Nightbolt. So I'm getting them painted up because I want to play with them. And they'll probably come with me to Valhalla. Oh, okay, Mantrodox. Yeah, that's not exactly that way either, though, because I already had an argument at the game store with that. Let me see here. So I mostly spend time with my brother. He quit when he got married and never had a reason to go back. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Became a second job for me. It did at one point for me, too. when you reroll in Kill Team, you have to reroll all the dice. You reroll a roll. So if you have apparently multiple attacks, yes, if you have multiple attacks, so say you're hitting with 3 attacks in melee, and they all miss, or whatever, you want to reroll. You're only going to reroll one of those dice. You're not rerolling the whole roll. That's my understanding. So if that's wrong, I don't know. I'll look it up later, but that's one of the conversations we had on Monday about the difference of what counts as a roll, I guess. Glad to see you back on, by the way. I've gotten 30 orcs done since I last seen you. Wow, you are so much more efficient than I am. Congratulations. Any more Kill Team battle reports coming up? Yes. I'm glad you liked them. So that actually is really encouraging. And yes, I do have more lined up. Tempestus Scions, Catachan are getting painted. Peaked at 1.2 million viewers. See, there you go. And, you know, in its heyday, I think there was like 13 million people playing at once, but it's a ton of people coming back to look at it again. Anyone see the South Park where they're addicted to WoW? Yes. It was hilarious. It was so good. Oh, I did like that episode, because that's when they were like leveling up in the starting zone until like killing sheep or something until they could be high enough level to go after that one dude who had the chips that he would knock off his shirt. 11 Baker, good evening. I had a question about thinning your paints. I also use apple barrel paints mainly, and do you find that thinning is worth it or not so much? So, like this particular brown that I'm using, this nutmeg brown, doesn't really need a thinning because it's already, like, for whatever reason, how I got it was already really kind of thin. And whenever I put it on as a layer, I mean, you can sort of see that it didn't really cover everything. So it needs multiple coats anyway. That doesn't mean, like, to me, there's no reason to thin that. I have another one, though, that's a wrought iron, this one here, and it does come out really thick, and so if you find that the coverage is getting streaky or like it's not cohesive and smooth, then you probably need to thin it. But I typically don't thin my paints, and I'm sure there are plenty of times where it would have been better to do it, and I just didn't. So take that as you will. Pretty sure I'm out of the loop on this. However, have you heard from the mini wargaming ninja lately? I haven't. I looked for him when I was up at the mini wargaming bunker in June, but I did see my voodoo doll, though. I was pretty happy about that. Wait a minute. Maybe I did see him. Most of the time, I find they become too thin with water. See, yeah, and it's kind of like on a case by case, and I mean, I don't even know if they're all packaged exactly the same out of the bottle, if we're being quite real about this. So, I mean, you're paying 50 cents for them. Root green for the Terrans, nice. Can't wait to see the new Kill Team videos. Way more enjoyable than most battle reports since it's not so freeform. Yeah, so I mean, I think my battle reports probably aren't nearly as fun to record as they are to watch, whereas the rambling ones are probably a lot more fun to record. However, there are some really good banter battle reports that I honestly have found a lot of fun. I don't know that I necessarily can do that, though, so I don't. I'm here finishing my dwarves right now. Nice. Are you finishing AOS dwarves, or which dwarves are you working on? I'm curious. Alright, so base coat here. What have we got? So he's got a whole bunch of metal bits on him, and the thing is, I'm just gonna give him a normal silver helmet. He doesn't need to have gold pieces on him. The armor's just gonna be plain silver, so I'm not giving him any brass there. The edge of the shield's gonna be brass. Probably the pommel on the sword will be brass, so I can paint that brown. Because the way I do the like the gold brassing is with a base coat of this brown, and then I dry brush the gold onto it just so it isn't as bright. Because these guys, you know, they crawled out of a tomb somewhere. They're not, you know, they're not gonna have these clean, bright, shiny gold bits. All right, metal is metal. So there we go. Hi from Scotland. Love your videos. Thank you. Hi, Cody. Bougie. You know what was it? Oh my gosh, Cody. I saw that the other night, and I almost texted you actually, because, but that probably would have been weird. What was it? Oh yeah, I was watching a documentary because I got really obsessed recently with watching like documentaries on people who do event planning and watching how certain events have just exploded, like Fire Festival and I think TanaCon was the other one I watched. And there was subtitles on some of the words, and one of them said bougie, and that comes from the word bourgeoisie, and I know that, you know, bougie probably isn't being spelled the way you spell bourgeoisie, and it was a whole thing, and it sounds much less interesting now to repeat it out loud, so. But either way, bougie is apparently spelled the way you just did. It's still a goofy word to use, and I won't use it. Down in New, oh yeah, Paul, you're in Newcastle, that's right. P.S. Paul had a birthday this past Sunday, so give him a shout out. Happy late birthday to Paul. I wasn't live streaming on Sunday, so you know I can't, but I can do it now. Happy birthday, Paul. I hope you had a good time. I believe you did all right for yourself. Got to play some games, chill out, eat this crazy looking cake, but happy birthday, man. It's not because you're bougie at all, Cody. You just need to stop. Just quit while you're ahead. Let's see. Is there a way to share a pic or two of what I'm working on right now with you guys here? No. The chat's functionality doesn't let it happen. So if you want to, I always invite people to post stuff on the Wargamergirl Facebook. You're definitely welcome to post your miniature pictures there. But I don't have a way of doing it here, so I'm sorry. Took a break from grad school, but now that I'm graduated, I'm looking to get back into the hobby with kill teams. Maybe brain fatigue or just older. But how do folks learn to retain the rules and options? You know, I've always found that you really can't get around reading the rule book. There's plenty of people, if you go to the game store, who are like, I will teach you how to play this game. It's fine. All you have to do is X, Y, Z. 100% of the time, they're wrong about something on there. So it makes sense to just, you know, read through the rule book. Usually it's nothing crazy. 40K has like 5 pages of rules. You know, Dust has a few pages of rules. They're all really generally pretty approachable that way. So if you take the time, like on a lunch hour or, you know, just some afternoon, you're home, you're eating or whatever, like just read through the rule book. Just do it. You'll never regret it. Then you go to the game store and then you talk to people about it. And then whenever they're saying, oh yeah, you do this and this and this, it reinforces what you've already read because it's sort of kept in your short-term memory. Even if you don't remember everything verbatim, the recognition still triggers, and it's way easier to pick up rules. That's the official advice on that. I'm glad you had a good weekend, Paul. No, Sammy's birthday was actually on Sunday, but I didn't get a chance to embarrass him until today, so kind of taking advantage of that now. Ooh. That's right, last Sunday, the 25th. Okay, so that's that. So we've got leather going on here. I'm not too worried about painting the brown here on his leather or any of that just yet because I'm going to be dry brushing the antique white over the skeleton because obviously, you know, he probably shouldn't be quite brown, but he's not a clean skeleton. So we are going to dry brush the white on there. break from grad school. So, Precious, what were you working on? What were you going to grad school for? Oh, it's still a million degrees here in New Mexico. I think since the end of August hit, it's been even hotter than any other point in the summer. So, got a fan. Still haven't installed the fan above me, but whatever. Hi, Jen. How are you doing? Aw, thank you. I appreciate that you're looking forward to it. Are you two working on anything tonight? Are you going for an aged bone look? Yes, exactly. So for dudes that have crawled out of a tomb and, you know, probably died in sort of a bloody fashion and get reanimated, again, they probably have some dirt. They're probably not like washing down at the baths or any of that. So start with the base coat of brown, and we are going to dry brush some antique white. Not bright white, antique white, off-white. Because bones aren't bleach white unless they've been bleached. My new Death Guard army Ossiarch Bone Reapers look pretty sweet. Nice. Work and hanging out. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out. I am going to take a quick intermission. I have to make sure I don't get logged out of Warcraft, so hold on. I'll take you guys with me, okay? So bear with me. I set this up so that I can just make sure that Newt here stays away. She is.
I need a target.
You can fish, woman. My skill level is not high enough to fish here. That's so disappointing. My old character. I'm so happy to have her back. It's so wonderful. Okay, back to work. So, yes. Don't mind me. I just don't want to get logged out. The queue is awful. Awful. And after I finish painting here, I'm probably going to play until it's too late in the morning, and I do have to go to work in the morning, so hopefully I won't totally mess that up. Dry brushing, yes. So right over the brown. Don't have to go nuts with it. But you want it, yeah, I mean, you're dry brushing, so you're just catching those highlights. You're letting the recesses stay dark. So it's going to be a little bit more like that. Got my MBA, hey, congratulations. They do, I like the look of the Penitent engine too. Oh, yeah. I bought the rulebook and I have a feeling I will make flashcards. If it works, it works. I mean, everybody learns their own way, and you obviously know how to learn, so I think you'll have a better sense of it than I will. Part of me knew your character would be called Newt. It goes back, right? I mean, I made that character when I was 19. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so she's my girl. She's been with me through thick and thin, and we've tanked so many dungeons. I love her. And new WoW just got so... I could never keep up with it. I mean, if you work a job and could keep up with retail WoW, then you're superhuman, because I don't know anybody ever could do that. Like, the amount of time it takes to do any of the content, and the constant rating, and the progression. You log out for a month and you come back and you basically are just starting over again. I could not take it. Couldn't do it. Following up dry brush with a brown wash. I will actually be using a black wash. You can use either. My preference is the black wash. It worked really well for my other Skelly boys, so I figured, why not? If it works, never ever change. It's my old man approach. And this is just me awkwardly holding this brush so I can get enough control on it. So don't mind me. I got it. I used flashcards for a while, made them in Excel. Of course you did, Paul. It feels so British. I don't know. Generally for battle reports, and I say generally because not all rulebooks are well written, I will point out. But for battle report games, the games play slow enough that anytime a question comes up, you're generally able to look it up and confirm. There are annoying little things where the rulebook won't explain something, and that gets frustrating, but you know, what are you gonna do? So you just sort of play it as best you think works and then move on. But let's be real, in tabletop gaming, most of us probably accidentally cheat kind of often. You forget a rule, you forget who you made your specialist in Kill Team. Oops. It's just, I don't know. Stuff happens. Generally, it's not a big deal. I know sometimes it is, and obviously if you're doing a big competitive thing, it's a big deal, but whatever. We play these games so we can hang out most of the time, at least. That's why I do it. Ooh, those are his feet under there. I didn't get his feet. We're gonna get his feet there. No, it's not Space Marines. Are you excited for the... I still want to see the MySpace Marines. But, yes, maybe? The last, and I could be out of the loop at this point, the last Sister of Battle announcement I saw was the other canoness that looked like an evil character from Harry Potter. I don't know, I didn't like her, and so, you know, but I do like the Seraphim. I like the special releases they've put out. The General Sisters look cool, so, I mean, I'm on board. Don't get me wrong. What did I do with my model holder? But we'll see. The thing is, at this point, I have so much Imperial Guard that I'm pretty attached to them too. So as long as I can play Imperial Soup, I will be happy. I think that works plenty. The Penitent Engine standing on one foot. Now that is bad. That is just pretty much never good modeling. Ugh, frustrating. Because you know what? Behemoth from War Machine. Stood on one foot. You know what you do? You pile rocks underneath his foot on the base so he looks like he's standing on something. Because it's ridiculous for the model to do that. Don't get me started on Scrapjack. Yeah, it's why people don't do that. I stopped watching GMZ reports of Blackstone Fortress because he plays the game very wrong. And then I saw Uncle Adam with his authority making tons of mistakes. People make mistakes all the time. I mean, I know it's probably frustrating to watch, but with a game that has like 400,000 rules, don't get me started on War Machine, my gosh. It's easy, and things get house ruled, and people will forget and think that they're the real rules instead of just the house rule. And also make sure to keep an ear out, because sometimes they'll tell you at the beginning they're doing that, and if you skip ahead or something, you won't know that. They announced the Sisters of Battle box set. Oh, at Nova. Well, I'm not at Nova. Missing Nova this year, Dragon Con. Oh well, I'm here with you guys, which is kind of better. Maybe they're... Man, Shucks, I hear what you're saying, man. I really do. I wouldn't assume necessarily that they're just not doing something out of laziness. You're probably right half the time, but there are definitely people who are looking, oh my gosh, and the rulebook just doesn't tell you, or there's something, and it doesn't dawn on you always to check on FAQs, so, I mean, I hope it doesn't completely put you out of, like, looking at the videos at all, because people are still trying to make that content. Everyone at Nova got plastic canonist tonight. Nice! There you go. I hope it's not that hideous one. It probably is. My Space Marines rival. Replace your HQ with your top 5 songs. Yeah, see? Yeah, I think you have it mostly coming. Plus I have Valhalla. Yeah, it is a big chunk of time, but we get through it. Do you have a painting preference for the type of material models are made of? Resin, plastic. So, originally, when I was first playing, I really liked metal because they had good detail. They felt hardy, and they seemed fine. Then I had like 400,000 War Machine models, and those bags would leave imprints on my shoulders because they were all metal models. And metal warjacks are not so amazing. They look great, but it's like carrying a doorknob around. They're really heavy. So I kind of lost some love with that, especially since I'm not super strong. So the plastics, I did not really care for resins when like GW came out with their fine cast, and the fine cast had these bubbles in them, or you'd have this, you always have to make sure you're really super cleaning resin because they have to use a mold release. And whenever I did our Kickstarter in 2013, we made this like clockwork tower thing, and those were all resin pieces, and I learned a lot about resin. And while it's incredibly a very versatile material, it's also kind of temperamental, and I'm highly allergic to mold release, so I didn't actually like care for the resins too much either. Plastics have come out as my favorite. They hold paint better, they don't chip. Metal models chip paint, especially if you're actually playing with them, which I do, and they're lighter, so plastics have kind of won out for me. That said, I definitely understand economically it's not practical for all companies, because to make a plastic model is like a $20,000 to $50,000 investment, depending on if you're using aluminum or steel. So it takes, you need to have the infrastructure in place to be able to do it. Resin ends up being kind of a good in between for that. So there you go. Really long answer to your question. Jay's upset with me because I broke him with all the AOS death, and now the new AOS death on top of my sister's. Oh my god! I need a fourth job. Just, remortgage the house. The kids don't need college. Retirement is for people who plan further ahead. Just go with that. Just tell your retirement planner, how do I afford my miniature hobby? If they're a good planner, they'll actually give you a decent answer to that. I think it's serious convention. FOMO2, but there's so many now, it's hard to manage if you're not a guest, comp, etc. You're absolutely right. Conventions cost buku money, and it's not like the ticket is the part that's so terribly expensive for you either. I mean, if and there are some companies who've gotten me in for free, which I super am grateful for. I think I've gotten to go to LVO for free before. Generally, though, they're not going to comp like a room or the travel, and those are the most expensive parts. So, conventions are something to plan for. Freaking love them every time I go, though. You get to see all your old friends again. You get to see people you only end up seeing at conventions, like Neef. I think I've seen you there, and like I only ever get to see you there, so it's really cool. All right, so we've got him. We're good. So he's got a dry brush on of some whites. It's not super covered. It doesn't have to be. We're gonna get the rest of the base coats on, then we're gonna black wash it, and then we're gonna re-highlight with the antique gold, and then it'll actually end up looking more like this guy. It almost focused. Come on, dude. There we go. Yes, come on. Haha. Yeah, there you go. I love him so much. He has the coolest looking bone structure. I like that. Yeah, I know you told me about that story, Paul. Oh gosh. Flipping through this rulebook, I'm thinking starting with Grey Knights, get right into the game. Low model count, easy to list and learn rules. Yeah, I think Grey Knights have a fair number of special rules, but I don't ever play them. And I don't think I've really had to play against them. We have one Grey Knight player in our meta here. It is low model count. They are very expensive models point-wise. Also dollar-wise, but, And then they do the psychic stuff, and their lore is interesting. Like, they're really, really dark. Hello from Ohio. Hey, Bill. College retirement overrated. Thank you, Jen. You know exactly what's up. Molds are the most expensive. Made plenty of that. Have huge experience in producing those pieces. Biggest was like 8 tons? 8 tons? Cool. But yeah, exactly. Like, once you start learning about the manufacturing side of it, it is crazy to see how expensive stuff gets. Okay, so that was a dry brush. Let's get some red on this guy. My red, I never thin either, because it already comes off pretty thin, and I already have to layer it like 2 to 4 times, depending on the coverage. So you kind of see here. Coverage on the gray isn't too terrible, but it is what it is. Get this red on and check on nude again. Hey, Maxicorn, appreciate you coming by. Hope you're doing alright. We're just getting some more Sepulchral Guard painted up. I've got a fair number of painted up Shadespire models at this point, so it's kind of nice to... It's really satisfying to paint Shadespire models, because you're like, here's my warband, and oh right, I'm done. I'm good. This is the band. This is what I play with. And yeah, it's not super versatile, but for an in and out game, for something you just want to play some evening, after dinner, not stay up super late, not need to dedicate a whole day of your weekend to, it's really fun. You're getting me all psyched out to get back to my Escher gang. There you go. I'm on the 6th and 7th model. Home stretch. Heck yeah. It's really satisfying. Feels like there's an actual end to painting. Yes, and the bigger games just, I mean, they're kind of designed to never quite feel like that. It's like, woohoo, you've painted 10,000 points of Space Marines. But you know what? You can always keep painting more Space Marines. You can always find a use for more of them. Maybe the new APOC rules will be, like, interest you, or maybe you need a new vehicle. Oh look, they came out with a new release. Your army's just never done. That is the trick. Sense of accomplishment, boost your desire to paint more. Yep, Jen is speaking truth right there. Do you guys ever finish painting a model and then just sort of sit and stare at it a while? Like, instead of moving on to another one, you're like, oh, I'm good. Just keep looking at this one. It like fills you with a little bit of joy. Like, it's done. You're happy with the way it's completed. There's not any reason to go back to it. You can close the chapter on it and walk away, and just it's done. It's lovely. Alright, I have to cut in some detail here. $40K, there's always more Space Marines. Regardless of the faction you play, there's always more Space Marines. But there's never enough my Space Marines. How on earth? What are they doing with this model? Okay, so his cloak is underneath his shield. That is not terribly clear. Got it. Finish painting a model and stare. I'm about 80% done and sit and stare at it. No, I don't do that part, but I feel ya. Ay, ay, ay. I think my painting peaked when I painted Cray for my Signar. I was super proud and stopped painting for a couple days after. There you go. After 50 Terminators for Space Hulk, I think I'm done. Are there really 50? No, not for Space Hulk. There's like 10. What are you talking about? Mostly when I finish Kill Team, I'm in shock that I actually finished. So many of my teams need final touch-ups. Yes, and then there is that. There are the models that are never, the never-dones, where you get most of the way there. And then you're at the point where after base coating a few of the models, you may have gotten a nice assembly line going to get a unit of them done, or most of a warband or something. And then you're down to the point where you have to just sort of pick up a model and finish it. All the little details. And so you get like one done. And then you find you haven't gone back to it. My night haunt. So, yeah, yeah, that happens. I don't know that we should all be just necessarily bragging about our bad habits in the painting hobby, but it is kind of fun. Oof. There's paint everywhere. Alright, I'm gonna take a break to make sure Newt doesn't log out. Hold on. Newt, are you there? Are you awake? Cool. Good job. Now my group. Alright, she will now stare over here and look at that stuff. And back to your scheduled program. An extrovert paints. Hello and welcome. I assume you're an extrovert. What are you painting? I'm better at leaving them alone these days. Yeah, but you're not supposed to leave them alone forever. So have you tried Warcry? Someone over here is trying to convince me it could be better than Underworlds. I saw a demo for Warcry, but I have not played it. The demo I saw was a 4-way game, and it was complete pandemonium from beginning to end. And that was really hilarious, but I was at first interested in Warcry because I thought, oh, I can take the models that I've been picking up for Shadespire to use as Warcry models. And then they're like, well, not quite. You can use some of them, like the Nighthaunt can come over, and the Sigmarites can kind of come over. But you still have to keep buying more models, and then at that point I was like, I'm okay. Minimize that. There we go. So, I don't know. I don't know that Warcry is necessarily going to be up my alley. I only have so much interest in fantasy. I'm sorry, Age of Sigmar. I really like the sci-fi stuff a lot more. And so if I have to keep buying more and more models beyond the Shadespire stuff, it's probably going to turn me off to it. That said, I know there are a lot of people playing it, and it does seem like it has a very similar approach to Warhammer Underworlds. A little bit more customizable. I don't know if it's quite enough to keep people focused on it. Paul and I were talking about that, actually. Thought you'd finish this warband already. I'm not doing a second set, and no, I'm just slow. That is going to be red. Yep, that's... This guy is missing a bizarre amount of detail. No, I got 4 of them done, but I never finished all of them, because there's 7. That's a lot. So, my bad, I have not finished these guys yet, no. So we're actually still working on my first warband. Not my first warband. The first warband were the Night Haunts. I mean the first set of these guys. I haven't gotten like another set or any of that stuff. Oof. I think the Underworld is just too perfect, so chess-like. It's really nice and compartmentalized, you know? You can just have all of the stuff for Warhammer Underworlds set aside, and when you want to bust it out, you're like, okay, here are the card decks. You can divide the deck by faction, or the warbands, then start playing. You don't have to dig out everything, find your tape measure, grab your dice. These have dedicated dice, so it keeps it all very compartmentalized. There were no special dice for Warcry from what I saw. It was all just regular, your regular D6, which was, you know, I mean, that's fine. You had to keep track of any time you rolled doubles at the beginning of the turn, like your doubles and triples or something you had to sort of set aside, and you could do special things with those, so there was an element of rolling at the very beginning that affected how your turn would go. But it also ends at 3 turns. Like, according to the demo guy, pretty consistently, just at the end of 3 turns it's done. So that's fine. They definitely are going for more of the shorter playtime on a game. Warcry is fun. It's very simple and easy with enough rules thrown in to make it interesting yet not overwhelming. After winning my first ever 3 games, I've decided that whenever a particular model wins a game, I'm going to add a skull to its base design. Metal AF. I approve. Trying to hunt down the original Hero Crest. Kind of pricey, but my childhood nostalgia desires it. Hey man, we live in the age where you can do that stuff, and someone on eBay's got it, you know? This model is just so weird. His cloak really is bizarrely dominating over his little frame. No worries, in the same way I take months to paint so few guys, and I get fun of it for justifiably by certain people. Certain people. Yeah, like, I can go slower if you want. It's usually my response. 4 sets of the original Hero Quest. My goodness. I'm preferring Warcry to Underworld. Okay. Are you just enjoying the more customizing you can do, or just the way the fighting goes? Because you're definitely in combat pretty much right away. Apparently you can deep strike on top of one another, like into combat, which of course the guys of the game start dead because they're hilarious and chaos. Yep, I was proven wrong about folk art metallics. Just shake it a bit more. Oh, good. I'm glad that they worked then for you. I know that was frustrating at one point. I was excited to paint. It was exciting to paint both death bands, skellies and ghosts. They are. They're so fun. What is the Grand Alliance of Death? I just imagine the leader being Cate Blanchett from Thor Ragnarok. Totally on board for all this. And I don't typically like playing, you know, the evil guys or, you know, the dark and emo or any of that stuff. These guys just seem really cool, though. Like, they've got a great look. The Night Haunts have this cool, like, sweepy, wispy kind of look that made them really fun to paint. These guys just have a great Jason of the Argonauts kind of look to them, too. It's just very enjoyable. So, I'm glad you enjoyed them, Jen. I believe I understand what it is you see in them. I think. And back to my dwarves on that note. Wow. I have not played Hero Quest. That one was... I'm sure it was out of print by the time I ever would have had the chance to play it. And I mean, at that point, there's just so many games. What are you going to go back to? I don't know. Maybe someone will bring it to Valhalla or something. That'd be kind of fun. Never know. Yeah. So we'll see. Meanwhile, getting the red on the Skelly boy. Death isn't bad. It's just not good. It's just the absence of good. You know, death is probably bad if it's, like, attacking you. I mean, it's sad until they come crawling out of the ground, and then it's scary. Still use the painting guide from Warhammer Fantasy Vampire Counts. Books for painting skellies. Nice. Oh my god, Jen. Can't keep up with you two. I will not be witness to abuse in my chat. Alright, metal there, red there. Have we covered all this? Oh, we need to get the cloak on his little chin there. 'Cause as far as I can tell, all of that is red. That's my guess. Anyway, I don't know. Could be wrong. Paint that bit there. That's gotta be brown. That's gonna be metal. That's gonna be brown. And yes, even if I wasn't hanging out and chat talking to you guys, I would be talking to myself this much while I painted it because I will lose track of what I'm doing on a model if I don't say stuff out loud. Especially when you're bouncing around between colors, it's just... I do talk to myself a lot in general. Actually, I also give myself a lot of sound effects, so if you've ever seen me edit, you'd know. Jay, stop. Are you using Citadel contrast paint? I am not. I have not used any of the contrast paints. The most I've used is the technical paint, which I used for the Night Haunts. Technical Hex Wraith Blue, I believe. Or Flame, it might have been called, I'm not sure. But it's a greenish blue. And as far as I can tell, it looked like a wash. I mean, it's a transparent paint without pools. So I don't exactly know what the difference is. I didn't try the contrast paints. You know, I've got my regular technique. I just continue doing it. So I have not. But I know it's working well for some people. Apparently it's great for getting base coats on, and more power to you if you do. Unless you're the extrovert painter, in which case contrast paints are the devil. I guess they're the devil. And shake, shake, shake. Spray black, dry brush white or bleached bone, wash black, done. That probably works fine. We should bring back the blood dragon vampires, but I'm very biased. X-ray flame, thank you, Paul. It is a really cool color. And you are able to make washes with it, because it's a technical paint, it does that. Alright, so here's my metallic gunmetal gray. That I will be using to paint the metal today. Here we go, metal, getting painted. I'm getting these base coats on, by golly. And I have found that as far as like dirt cheap paints go, like Apple Barrel, like Bokar, like whatever, these metallics have really good coverage in my experience. So cover in one go, and then again everything gets black wash at the end, and then dry brushed back up, sure, but you know, you're not going nuts with how the texture of the paint, for example, shows up. Because that's going to be one of the issues you can have. The cheaper paints are not super amazing on details like a face, because you can get the grain of the paint pigments themselves because they're not ground as fine. And then the face isn't very flattering. So if it's a look you're going for, that's fine, but it's something to be aware of. Because if you're not going for it, then you're probably going to be kind of sad. Getting some metal on his head. Pricey ink washes sold to new painters in an exploitive manner, in my humble opinion. I mean, let's talk about general model pricing, good sir. At the end, it's hard because I'm sure a lot of it's justified by the idea that it's a luxury hobby, and so, you know, they'll get what they get. And you're not obligated to use any of this stuff. And if it makes it easier for someone, then fine. Like, generally a lot of that stuff falls under the big, vast veil of things that I just don't have the energy to get mad about. It's like, okay, fine, you're gonna pay $7 for that. Did it work? I mean, these paints last for freaking ever too, so whatever. Can't tell you how many people I've seen who are like, how dare you use craft paints on these models? They're too good for your filthy plebeian paint. It's like, yeah, they're not. Turns out they're just miniatures. I'll paint them the way I want, like any of us do. And some people put way more attention and time into it, and they look better than mine. And that's fine too. It's actually one of the nice relaxing parts of the hobby. And it used to not be. And part of me is starting to wonder if it's because the performance anxiety of like, oh, am I going to make these look okay enough? And I mean, at first they didn't. They looked pretty horrible, but, you know, and you got better, so whatever. I'm a fan of contrast paints as a supplemental tool. Fair enough. This metal looks so good. Look at that. Oh. And you know what? With this one, the metallic texture that does show up for it actually helps the look on that sword. You know, it looks like an old tempered sword. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Our Lady of April, patron saint of craft paint. Thank you, Zach Spornson. I'll take that. Sporn, I'm sorry. I haven't been talking very clearly all day. Have I mentioned I've been playing WoW all day? Speaking of, let's make sure I don't get locked out. Hey, Newt, how you doing? Any herbs to pick out here? Oh, I'm gonna take a moment to show you guys. So I didn't do the original WoW textures. I actually bammed it up a notch. And Red Ridge looks so pretty. And I never liked Red Ridge, mostly because I got ganked here all the time. But here you go. Look at that foliage. Beautiful leafy grass. So pretty. Alright, I'm gonna run back across the river before I get killed. Warrior, whatever. You're the best. My dearest warrior. And my party just killed Hogger. Whatever, we killed him like 3 times yesterday. He's not so great. And this game really did capture something for me a long time ago. I don't know if WoW Classic's necessarily bringing all of that back, but gosh, it feels so nice right now. I got lucky. You're here. Hi, Mandragora. Welcome. Yes, thank you, Lorebinder. That metal looks great. It does. There you go. 50-cent solution to your metal. To any metal problems. But, yeah, we're just going to get it on all these little bits here. The buckle, again, for my boring color scheme. I say it's boring, honestly, it's worked quite well for me, but metal is metal, leather is brown, dirt is brown, rocks are gray. Like, I don't get too crazy colorful with things because I will get caught up in it and then make my model look crazy. And, you know, you can be like Paul and think purple looks good on everything, but turns out I painted a little different. Get that metal on there. Oh, giving me crap for my warrior. I don't appreciate that. She's been great. I love her in the dungeons. I love her in PvP. Sort of. Whatever. What else is going on in here? I've seen lots of marketing that misrepresented contrast paints as a replacement for traditional paints. I don't think they're intended for that. No, that doesn't sound right. And I haven't followed any of the marketing on it, so take that for what you will. But the contrast paints seemed like it was hurry up and get your base coats done. This is a fast way to do it because it'll pool into the details and sort of have a highlighted effect on any of the high areas, and that's good. But you still have to like paint the rest of your stuff, and if you paint over and over with the contrast paints, you're probably gonna have to be stuck layering, and then it almost looks more like a glaze, and then you're probably getting into more complicated painting than you intended to. Chris Bello out of Mini Wargaming. When I saw him in June, I was like, hey, what do you think of contrast paints? Because he had shown me some of the stuff he did with it, and, you know, he's a master painter, so of course it looked gorgeous anyway. But, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not on its own top-level stuff, but, you know, it's fine. It's designed to save time. And so I would hope it's being marketed on that level of a it saves time thing, and not a this is to replace all of your paints, go just throw out what you have now. That'd be weird, it'd be awful. Contrast paints are just, Mogwai, Shaman and Warlock were my jams from Vanilla WoW. Well, I think you just outed yourself as a Horde player, so we can't be friends anymore. Shaman and Warlock. So my warrior could actually take Warlocks. Could not take a mage to save my life. It's the worst. I hated mages so much. But yeah, Warlocks are pretty powerful. Shaman are also quite tough. Let's see. Last time I got into a game like WoW was Diablo 2? Okay, well, tempted to play WoW Classic. If you haven't jumped in already, you might give it like a week, because seriously, server wait times are in the thousands. And they did increase it. Since you posted a preview, Introvert, since you posted a preview of dust models you received, I must know your first impression. They don't look like premium minis, but they are priced at that point. Bad website picks or just overpriced? The ones I have are premium, because the premium means that they're all pre-painted for you. And so the idea, and I'm doing an unboxing of it, so you'll get a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on that too. But the idea is you take them out of the box, here's your mat to play with, set it down, and start playing. You can either use, you know, designate what would be terrain areas or put down actual terrain, but the game itself is, like, the models themselves are ready to go out of the box. That seems really cool. But I will be going more in depth with that as we go. Keep in mind, something like Dust, their whole marketing approach on it is, this is a game for people who come home after a long day of work. They want to sit down and play a game for like 45 minutes before, you know, after dinner, before going to bed, or before doing something else. They don't want a game that is going to devour their life. So kind of the way Shadespire works, except these are even minis that you don't have to paint yourself if you want to pay the upcharge to have them done for you. So we'll see. As far as how the game plays, I will get back to you on that. You can buy Vallejo Game Ink and produce the same results. I don't feel like the contrast paints are necessarily a brand new thing, especially after I saw the technical paint. I was like, wait a minute. Oh. But, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. After I stopped playing tabletop games, I was a sponsored endgamer back in Classic and the Burning Crusade. Activision killed WoW in cold blood. Couldn't pay me all the money in the world to go back. Oh, sorry to hear that. It's awful. I mean, I can't say I'm a fan of where they are now, but I am really liking Classic. You can paint miniatures with just shades and produce respectable results. Probably. And that's just going to be down to like whatever your own personal technique is. Being marketed as the cure-all that paints your minis for you. Well, yeah, I mean, then that's not cool. I hope people probably generally know better, maybe. Horde. Shaman are brutal and Classic. I know. They're the worst. 12 Neve. It's people taking stuff too seriously. Let people spend their money how they want. I mean, it is a hobby, and so dictating how other people should spend their money in their own hobby probably is not so cool, so I agree. That said, these are hobbies we're all passionate about, and so of course we're going to share our opinion about it, and it's easy to get kind of passionate about it. You know, how a mini is designed versus its price, how a game is playing versus its price, the rate rule sets change, new mini, the Primaris drama, I mean, there's a lot of things, and, you know, it's fine. Being passionate about it, that's fine. But at the end of the day, yeah, people will still do what they want and whatever. Finished scratch building a starship in 15mm scale. Trying to decide on the paint scheme. It's a passenger shuttle, so I wanted to make it look like a commercial jet. Oh man. 15mm scale, so you're really, really tiny on that. I mean, if you have, would you actually want to put like a branding on it? Like paint an emblem of Pan Am or something on it? Or, I don't know. I don't know enough about what you like, Bills. I also tried playing WoW years ago, with so many MMOs out there. I preferred Lord of the Rings Online, the Old Republic back in the day, and now ESO is great. Wait, are all dust pre-painted? No, not all dust are pre-painted. There's 3 levels of it. There's just the minis, there's primed, and then premium is the pre-painted version of it. So if they say premium, that means it's pre-painted. The other one I think will say primed, and the other one will probably just say something like high quality miniatures or something like that, where it's just the miniatures. But if they're using the word premium, I believe that means that they are pre-painted. Color scheme from Subnautica. There you go. Do you play Blood Bowl? Have you made any videos on a game? If not, you should. It's pretty good. I've seen Blood Bowl painted or played a few times at Valhalla, and of course it's always a blast because, you know, everybody's having a bunch of fun there, and the game seems to play really well. I've been looking into Blood Bowl. So, I don't know. There's this idea that kind of been floating around, the idea of, because Blood Bowl, it's like football, right? And there is a group of people here who play it, and, you know, I don't know what the status of how painted their miniatures are or any of that stuff. I bet, and what I think would be cool, although I'm not totally sure on the logistics of it or the time to be completely clear about it. However, I have wondered about doing like a Blood Bowl league, like an actual league leading up to a Super Blood Bowl kind of thing, like weekly Blood Bowl, not sponsorship, but you know, you have the person commenting and dictating the game live, like a sports announcer, you know, and I don't know. I don't know if that sounds super fun or if it just sounds cool in my head, because I think it could be a lot of fun. Have some games get together, like 8 teams or whatever, to churn down to this one big Super Blood Bowl, and that could be super recorded. But the prior games to it probably wouldn't have as much detail as like the normal Wargamergirl battle report, just because of the time, especially if we were to actually churn them out in any sort of like a playoffs, that would take too long. But we did think about, it could be fun if it was like an actual league. I don't know. I don't know how popular that would necessarily be, and it would be a lot of work. So the Primaris drama, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, exactly. So, and I can't blame either side. Like, there's plenty of people who are like, whatever, I don't care. And that's fine, but then there's a lot of people who are like, I invested a lot of money. So, I mean, I sympathize on both sides with that. Not sure if you get asked this often, but do you still play War Machine regularly? Not so much regularly. But I am going to be doing more battle reports with it. The only thing is I'm going to make the games a little different. Instead of doing any of the steamroller stuff, they're just going to be different kinds of games. So, yes. And I still actually really like it. I really love the lore. I got super invested into the lore of War Machine again after I read a whole bunch more of it, prepping for the Tabletop Heroes show that we did. And that's still in post-production. I swear it's coming out. But it's the whole Iron Kingdoms RPG. So we did a whole bunch of stuff in the actual world of the Iron Kingdoms, and I read a bunch of the histories of all the areas nearby and the history of Signar, and I've read all of, just a significant amount anyway, of the fiction, and I really got into that more so. As far as the War Machine rule set, I love it. It is a fun game. it just burned me out after a while. And so, yeah, I'm coming back to it, but I'm just doing other things too. I'm playing the field now. I can't be dedicated to one game anymore. It hurt too much. A lot of the Lord of the Rings Online have WoW refugees. Oh, whatever. I think WoW Classic is going to be the WoW killer. That Nova previewed Sisters of Battle box looks so sweet. I'll have to take a look at that. Thanks. That means the Dust website's just not consumer friendly or accessible. I really couldn't find the info I needed on the product contained within. That is unfortunate. I bet I could maybe get some of that feedback back up. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at the website on my own too. I have poked around in there a little bit. Blood Bowl is a great sports miniature game in terms of building new minis. It comes with old slit hole bases for the old metal minis. I have to fill them with my millipede epoxy. Really? You don't just put like a little sheet of paper down and just call it a day? I'm doing my part of the SBBL. Super Blood Bowl with commentary sounds pretty epic. Oh, thank you. Who's talking heresy about my tall boys? Is Super Blood Bowl using NAF Blood Bowl rules? Maybe. That would require a fair bit of research on my end. Is Privateer Press going under? I don't know. I don't work for them. I don't think so. They have a new game coming out next year. Oh man, I hope not. Yeah, see, and the you know, I've still never used a P3 paint to this day. I hear they're great, and I believe people who tell me that. I'm sure they are. I've just never used them because they don't carry them in game stores. So I've used Vallejo, I've used Citadel because that's what I can get. So if I'm buying paint, unless it's Nuln Oil, which is the magic ingredient to everything, I'm probably just going to find it on the shelf and say, this color, and grab it. So. Didn't Privateer Press do a Blood Bowl style game? I think I remember something about it. They are doing a new one right now called Riot Quest. So that sort of takes all of the game, all of the characters from sort of the IKRPG world, and puts them into an arena, sort of like Heroes of the Storm, or some sort of arena-based game. Blood Bowl, I think you might be thinking of Guild Ball, which isn't actually Privateer Press. Got a lot of they've got like beta rules floating around seeking player base approval. It's in a bit of turmoil. Ugh. On War Machine, I'm still not super sold on 3rd edition. I loved 2nd way too much. They nerfed my Mage Hunter Strike Force. That Mage Hunter Strike Force was insane. Insane. So, sorry, not sorry. Mark III just didn't really fix the problems they promised at the end of the day. They still had the same imbalance issues, and then they said, oh, CID, we'll fix it with CID, and then that works for some, but yeah, it made it hard to keep up with. More frequent, ubiquitous at GW Blood Bowl tournaments. NAF Blood Bowl rules. Alright, I guess I'll have to look that up here afterward. Random thing was sent Reality's Edge, cyberpunk RPG skirmish game from Osprey. It's really cool. Can't recommend it enough. Reality's Edge. So Osprey, of course, made Frostgrave, and I know a lot of people were super excited about that game, so I guess this is another one from them? That's cool. Do they have their own miniature line, or do you kind of use any models again the way Frostgrave worked? Going to be reviewing it. Well, cool. Let me know when it's done. I'll look at your review. Yeah, so it's called Grind, one of their magazines. Grind is, yeah, that's true. You had the small arena, and you had a referee and stuff. I never played Grind. Don't forget about Newt. Thank you. We're gonna take a moment and go check on Newt. How you doing here, Newt? We're doing okay. Back to Red Ridge. So many dramas happen here. There's so many fights. I used to play on the old Storm Scale server, and there was a massive horde guild called Juice that lived on there, and they made everyone's life horrible. Just the worst. So Of course I stayed, so what am I going to say? But, yeah. So many fights in Red Ridge. The murder of so many NPCs and flight masters. Couldn't get your quests done. Oh, so dramatic. Reality's Edge. Gonna have to look into that. Yeah, I'm curious now. Interesting that Vallejo, a company from Barcelona, have a bigger presence in the US than P3 Paints. I mean, they have a name recognition that's older than Privateer. In fact, next year, Privateer will be celebrating their 20th anniversary. They've been around since 2000. But Vallejo, I think, goes back earlier, doesn't it? Like, I thought those paints had been around forever and a day. Grind is their blood bowl. It hasn't had the same sticking power then. Mogwai, I'm done buying Citadel paints unless it's a specific color I want to use. I hate the pot system and the pricing adds up quick. That is correct. It's fine when you're like, okay, here's $5 for, I need this Runefang steel. Okay, that's good. But if you're buying an actual collection of it, or if you saw my paint chat last week with DJ, he has this huge Citadel collection of paints. It's like a whole library of them. But, I mean, it's obviously not all of them, and I don't even know what that cost him. Miniature agnostic. Okay, there you go. There's another RPG I have to refer to Jay about that a friend of ours ran. It was all about threads of existence with angels and demons. Interesting. I don't know. They messed up Protectorate. I don't know exactly what all they changed with them, to be honest. That was 12 years ago. Okay. Numine by SJG. Thank you, Extrovert. I do want to see your review on that. Yeah, just post it on the Facebook. Okay, so more of that. When a WoW guild makes you feel like you're going to work instead of having fun playing. WoW guilds were interesting because I've been in good ones and bad ones, and the hardcore raiding ones, and then the super casual ones that got nothing done. And there really is an in-between. Like, if you want a guild to run all right, you probably are going to have a few people that are putting in a little bit of work-like time. Back in my really, really old guild days, when I tanked for them, anytime I signed on, you know, I would try to make sure I would be available to help, like, tank people through a dungeon or something, any of my guild mates, because it could be hard to get a tank, and so but I like that. That is, like, the community experience part of it. It's like, here's our clubhouse, and this is, you know, my friends in their clubhouse, and that was nice to me. Now, you know, we raid every Tuesday and Thursday at X amount of time, and we have to clear X amount of molten core. Yeah, I didn't get into any of that. DKP still makes me nauseous to think about, so there's that. But you know what? I'm level 15, and I'm just enjoying the world. So, I'm just gonna continue to do that. And I don't even know. Here's the thing about WoW Classic, though. I don't know that I'll necessarily get to end game, but if I eventually dirt my way up there, if I so feel like it, I'm done. I never have to worry about, like, the reset or having all of my gear mean nothing because a new expansion came out. And that makes me happy. That makes me so happy. The game uses the same engine as the old Lord of the Rings system. Nice. I'm in Spain and I use Citadel GW mainly. I use Vallejo for military miniature painting mostly. GW for Warhammer. Sounds like it works. Yeah, and the pot prices are, I mean, it's a matter of what it's worth to you on the pricing. Obviously, it's not worth a whole lot to me because I buy a bunch of 50-cent paints. But Null Oil, yeah, I'll spend the money on it. It's worth it. And they do last a long time. I mean, that is the thing. It's annoying to spend your money on, but then you're not going to be buying it for years again, so it's like, if the quality's there, then whatever. I'm really trying to see if I can't get this one guy done. I have half an hour. Half an hour to finish him. I can probably get it done, right? Just a few more details. It is so weird the way he has his shield merged into this thing, though. Alright, so I'm re-adding the brown. At this point, I'm going to paint in where leather's going to be, and then we're going to black wash it. Now, you can use an Agrax Earthshade if you want to brown wash it instead. Personally, I like the black wash. I like the way it really fills in the details. It gives me an appropriate contrast. Dun, dun, dun. That I really like. Makes the model a little bit more dramatic. It's inclined to listen to alternative music and argue about cleaning its room. Shaky hands tonight. I have not eaten well because I sat at my computer desk playing WoW all day. This was such a terrible decision, but I don't regret it. Don't worry, I promise I'll go back to being productive tomorrow. I only took one day off for WoW. It is hilarious. The number of people that I'm talking to in like guild chat and stuff are taking like 2 weeks off work to play WoW. It's insane. I mean, wow. It's crazy. That's the effect this game has had on people. 2 weeks of your own paid time off. Half of it will be spent in a queue, waiting to get in. Derping your way through an RPG is the way to play, in my opinion. Thank you. I like to really bring a realism to it. I like how I feel like I go through regular life, so... Okay, we've got some base coats on here. Brown is brown. Oh, we gotta get the back of the shield there. That's a little bit of a... That guy was hiding. And so you've got to take, like, I have to periodically take a moment and look back on him and go, is there more gray? And usually the answer is yes, you missed this. For example, this little belt bit here. Sorry, let me see if I can get a little closer for real. So he's got all these belts hanging off him, and then his cloak sweeping down off of him. And then his bones are up in there. This little area in here can be a little complicated because he's got a bunch of stuff happening. Have a great night, everyone. Night, Extrovert. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate the tat. Miniature's looking fire. Ooh, thank you. If you like nun oil, check out Agrax Earthshade. Yes. The two that are definitely worth buying from GW, in my opinion. Because again, any other color you're putting on it, you know, 50-cent paint or whatever, it's gonna make it look amazing. And I will show you in just a moment how it looks amazing. Bought Citadel. Whoa, I lost the chat. White Scar was like a slimy ball of plastic. I think you just got a bad pot. Have you dry brushed the gold yet? Distracted by the chat. No, I haven't done that yet. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I guess we can probably start doing that. The only part that's going to be gold is the edge of the shield and the hilt of the weapon. But you don't want to dry brush until your paint's dry. And I do need to make sure I have an appropriate amount of brown on there first. So does that look right? That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in, cut in a little bit more of the gunmetal where I missed those details, and come back to it. Morning, Miranda. Oh, why, good morning, Kiefer. Welcome to the chat. P3 armor wash is what Nuln Oil wishes it was when it grows up. Wow, okay then. I've never used it, so I'll have to stick with my childish wash. I'm sure you've been asked ad nauseum, but how about them sisters? Some of them are really cool. Some of them do not appeal to me. We'll see. Big fat, we will see. I want to know what the Sisters Kill team is going to look like. but there was an announcement at Nova, and I have not looked at that yet, so I will have to do that. I get that way with shows sometimes. Teenagers have me on My Hero Academia kick. I used Citadel for years, but P3 is a game changer for me. They're very expensive in the UK, but are good, so I use a combination of the two. Hey, that was really good. Nice control, looking pretty sharp. Why, thank you. All right, cutting in a little bit more of our gunmetal. Then we're going to dry brush the gold. Then we're going to black wash the model. Then we're going to dry brush the white back on. And then beautiful miniature. For whatever reason, I think painting belts is really fun. Because you get to, like, I don't know, just... Usually it's just a raised surface, and so it's easy to kind of glide the brush over without having to freehand anything. But it looks kind of like you did, and I like that. Ooh, I am missing some spots with my red. I'm gonna have to fix that. Alright, is metal metal? We are missing a little bit there. Fill that in. We need to get some brown actually on there. Oh, I get so distracted. I just miss all these little spots. It's easy to miss the teeny little spots. Like the edge of his, the front edge of his helmet, for example. He really does need to have more white in there, so I'm going to have to address that as well. However, metal is finally metal on all the things that need to be metal. Gotta go to work, keep painting. Thanks. Davies, appreciate you coming by the chat. Have a good one, man. Do you ever use main medium to thin down your Nuln oil in GW washes ever? No. I don't have anything else for you for that, I'm sorry. Independent shops. Oh, okay. So apparently that's where you can get P3, Paul. Good to know. Wait, you didn't look at the Nova releases? No. No, I haven't. Did I mention I've been playing World of Warcraft all day? Yes, I know. I'm the worst. I promise I will look at the Nova releases. Probably tomorrow. Because I have more World of Warcraft to play. And this is the only day off I took to play it. So, I'm going to do that. But yes, I am curious. I guess there was a Sisters release for Nova, so I'll definitely be looking at that. And I don't know, it sounds like a cool event so far. I've got some friends over there too, so they've been posting pictures like jerks, making me all sad. Just ignore them. I'm busy playing WoW with my real friends, my guild. I don't actually say that. We're distracting her. Yeah, I'm distracting me. Love Druchii Violet, Citadel's purple shade. I bought a purple recently, and it's because of you, Paul. But I bought a purple recently, and I don't remember which one it was. I just remember being overwhelmed and then kind of annoyed at how many purples there were. But I'm like, you've seen that meme where they have the different silhouettes. I think one's like a girl, one's a boy, and then it's like the different colors along a scale of, yellow and blue and white, but on the other side of it with like the other person, the other silhouette looking at it, it's every single shade in between. Yeah, I'm the one who's like the simple color one. It's like, it's red. It's just red, it's fine. Like, it's fuchsia. So it's pink. No, it's fuchsia. And yes, sometimes I will get uppity about that, but I don't know. I guess mostly I'm just inconsistent. Oh gosh. Keep accidentally getting red on their little skelly bodies. So what I do is I just dip the paintbrush, clean it off, get it wet, and quickly wipe over the spot. And then it picks up the red, and then everything's clean, and it's like you never messed anything up. As long as you catch it quickly enough. Oof. I guess I kind of have to admit that this does feel a little bit more enriching than just playing WoW all the time. Having done it for 12 hours now. Maybe more like 10. That's not bad. Did I fix my red? Is red red? Is red in all the right spots? No. Alright. I think red is now in all the right spots. Shaky. Oh gosh, sorry, there's some chat here. Yes, you know what I mean with the color. People of America, I found the best super glue ever. What? You mean super glue gel? It's liquid and runs into the cracks. No. It's called Bill Industries Instacure. I think your Hobby King online store rebrands it. I've imported so much. Nice. So, I guess are you talking about using it as kind of a gap filler? Because I can understand that. You do, Miranda. I'm only going to say the sisters are better with paint on them. The Penitent engine looks sweet. Sisters are coming out in November. All right. I'll be home and not hopefully too busy in November. There are never enough purples. No, Sam. No. 4 big orc models left to paint. Hey, how you doing, Konik? Working on 2 battle wagons from miniature scenery from Australia. Our tracks for the win. Yes. Cyanoacrylate glue? Yes, exactly. Mikey completely agreed on both points. Need paint on the Penitent engine if nothing else. Are worth a moment to check out. Okay, guys, you've shamed me into it. I will go look at it after I play WoW. There are 4... No. There was a Forge World purple that was recently introduced into the GW range sometime around the contrast paint. Xerxes purple. Yeah, that was one of them I saw. They were in 2 separate spots on the display rack, and one of them was like, these are the Forge World colors because you're in an official Games Workshop store, and so they carry the Forge World colors or something. Do you guys hear about the almost greenlit color by GW called Demonette Minge? I hope the engines have some level of possibility. The vid made it look a little static. Yeah, indeed. Magnetized my whole battle wagons. Was easier than I expected. Nice! Congratulations. I never magnetized the model. I have wanted it, and then the effort needed just made me glue everything instead. And that was that. That was that. Oh, I already have battle wagons done. Did I really teach you all you know about super glue, Paul? You weren't a fan of super glue. You just decided to give it another chance on my account. So for that, I appreciate it. And apparently it was worth your time, so that also makes me happy. I mean, being right makes me happy, but... Ah, there you go. Trucks, battle wagons, tracks, whatever. Don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. Okay. Yep, there we go. Let's, we're gonna take our antique gold, the only color I've ever bought that I had to replace because the original one grew mold. So that was super gross, but other than that, this color's great. It's orcs, who cares? It's true. Alright, we get our lovely dry brushing brush, i.e. this dude, super frizzed out. And all we're really going to be doing is dry brushing the hilt on his sword and the edge of his shield. That's the only part that's going to be brass. I know, it was the worst, Samuel. The worst. You could smell it when you opened it, and that's all it takes for me. So I'm like, to the trash. And then I just didn't have antique gold for a while because the store ran out, because you only buy these colors like once every 6 years, and it's a lot of drama. Alright. Dry brushing. So, dry brushing has always felt harder for me than washing. I guess that's kind of it's different for different people. But I always put too much paint on it, even when I think I'm not. Because I'm like, I don't see the gold. Well, let me put more gold on, and then it just paints it instead of dry brushing it. So I've had to really learn to be happy with it, even when I wasn't really truly happy with it, because then I'd look at it later and I'd go, oh, there it is. Like, I couldn't notice the gold or something right away. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but that's what was sort of happening to me. So, I'm not sure if you can tell, but that is some dry brushed gold on there. And so it's really just over the brown, and so, that's some pieces of the brush, over the brown, so it gives it a metallic shine without replacing it as a bright gold. Okay, so it's easy for you to overpaint. It is definitely more of a challenge for me. Oh gosh, this brush is so jacked. Aw, thank you, Chronic Toast. Nice job, your menu's looking good. I get them there eventually. But you know what I have to go check on? My WoW character. What's happening, Newt? What are you doing? We're now going to look out this direction. What a lovely tree. 15 minutes. We got this. We got this. Our dry brush looks more like a palm tree all splayed out. Shorter bristles. It's got to be more effective. It can, but it can be, it's like, it can be easy to be over aggressive with the brush because it's so stiff and short that you have to be careful about rubbing all the paint off. And pulling all the little hairs out of there. Where are they even coming from, I ask? And the thing is, the black wash is going to really dull a lot of this anyway, and so I kind of have to do it twice. So I'm not too terribly worried about it looking amazing out the gate, the first go. I just want to make sure I've covered it and separated out the colors, because the black wash is also going over the wooden shield, and I want that to look like a wooden shield. And then this needs to look like brass or whatever. No, definitely brass, not whatever. So you can kind of see half painted on there, half not. And you can already see where I've kind of overdone it on the actual wooden bit. But this other side here is not painted. So there you go. What's up? Hey, Media Glitch. How are you doing, Joel? Saw you bumping my live stream earlier. Appreciate that, good sir. Media Glitch is the other channel I do stuff on. I actually have video game reviews. I don't know, should I do a WoW Classic review? There's already gonna be so many. Should I, Joel? What do you think, man? I've converted the Deathcopters, biplanes, cutout boys, models have caused the Wolf Rider legs and normal grot top torsos. I've got grot biplanes. My goodness, you have a whole air wing. I'm so impressed. Using a piece of cardboard is better than a paper towel prep. Dry brush, you can see how much paint's coming off the brush. It's so much easier. That's a good point. Maybe I will just go ahead and give that a shot. You want soft brushes for dry brushing. You probably do. Wow, classic review? Yes. Yes. Well. It's fair. Alright, and there, and there, and there. And that's kind of the only place that's going to have it. Oh, take that back. This little outer bit here needs to be metal too, because that is still the ring of brass from the inside of the shield. Right in there. Come on. In there. So we are going to make sure that also shows up. Gold. Gold everywhere else. Okay, we got this. Hey, it's time for black washing. Holy cow. It's almost time for black washing. There was one little bit I forgot. Remember the brown fences from vanilla last year? Those brushed with craft paint and cardboard method worked well. Oh yeah, I do. So Chronic Toast was at Valhalla last year and had this fantastic bolt action board, and I got to do a demo, and so that was a lot of fun. But just great job, like the bolt action, and this applies even to the bolt action guys I see here in town. Like for whatever reason, when I've seen people who play bolt action, they do not skimp on terrain at all. It looks great. It looks like a full-on diorama of a location, and it's just lovely. So, Chronic Toast bringing his knowledge into here. Appreciate that, man. Brown wash would probably do a pretty good job with the rusted appearance. Yes. But we're using a black wash. Makeup brushes are the best dry brushes on the market. Yep, apparently ELF is a brand decent for that. Alright, here we go. Let's see, what's going to be my brush for this? It's going to be you. Here we go, Null Oil. Could be Agrax Earthshade. I already did these other guys in Null Oil, and I'm rather happy with them. So, both for consistency's sake, he will have it too. Mention hedgerows as far as the eye can see. There you go. My Tuesday hobby group have recently mentioned bolt action. That may become a thing. Painting up a bolt action tiger tonight while watching. Hey, nice. No, and the guy in the group here seems really nice too. It's time. It's always time. And yes, I say that as I'm sitting here playing WoW all day. But even that was me taking a day off work to do it. And it's my one day off, so. Bolt action looks great. It looks... I'm really curious actually to compare between dust and bolt action, because I feel like they both take different approaches, which means that you should be able to enjoy them both. You know, they're not necessarily competing miniatures in that you're competing in the same way. You have your miniature game that you play for just casual gaming. I'm just going to drip this on everywhere. Yeah, I get real happy with my washes. Cover everything. Put that into every corner you want. Sorry, it's a little distracted at the moment here. Gotta get that. Don't stop moving once you start the black wash. Gotta get it where you need it. Now you can dilute at that point with water if you find that you're not getting the effect you want. It'll give you a little bit more work time. So far, liking the way that looks. Yes, yes, yes. A little bit more into the face, into here. And then you get a bajillion details that show up without having to paint them in. And I know better details are always going to come out from something pooling into a detail rather than you having somehow been precise enough to paint it. And now he's, well, he's a little glossy there, but, and of course you blackwash the blade. All right. And then they have to sit for like an hour. So he's basically done because I can't do anything else with him. Washing, so satisfying to watch the tone changes and the details pop. You are not kidding. It's crazy how different that is. And so you get how almost like an oily look on the metal, which works fine for me. And then the skeleton part, the actual bones are gonna get another dry brush of the antique once it's done, which again will kind of make it pop and look a little bit more like that guy. So that's sort of what the finished bone part of it looks like. So I found that to work out all right. How necrotic. Thank you. No, it is my go-to. Agrax Earthshade I started using later and I'm less confident with it, so I'm less inclined to use it. Although I did use it for my Thorns of the Briar Queen because when I wanted the all the vine work on there to have a saturation to it, the earthy Earthshade worked perfect for that. So I did that. Nice paint job. Take the rest off. The night off. Thank you. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with that time. So that's one more dude done out of 7. And so I really only have 2 left. Just real quick, because I didn't blackwash the ground at all. Oh, actually that bit is supposed to be skeletal. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I'll wait for later to do that. Never mind. He's done. He's totally done for the night. He's gonna have to dry off. And, like, you give it a couple hours or something, or at least I do, give it a couple hours on the wash just because you really, really want that to set. If you're gonna dry brush over it, you want to make sure that you're not moving all the rest of it. So, there he is, guys. He came from just a little primed figure at the beginning of the night, and then with your help and company, he true came to being tabletop ready. I've done the Sepulchral guard proud. Thank you. I am making okay progress. It's hard to set aside time to paint. It's why, even with me wanting to play WoW like crazy, I still want to set aside and make sure I did the painting stream because I'm getting stuff done and I hope it's encouraging to you guys. I really appreciate the company. It's actually a whole lot of fun for me. But then when you get stuff done, you're getting things like that feeling of progress is so nice. Oh, German Luther also makes the Great Imperial Guard Sentinel conversions for beefed up legs. Oh, make for Great Imperial Guard conversions. Nice. My daughter thought I had washed the beards. I had to explain that I layered up. No washes. She was impressed. Made me feel good. Validation for the win. We all need a little bit of it. I'm about to wash the plume. I love it. Yeah, okay, there you go. Kind of get the toast. You know exactly what I think you know what I mean. It's not a competing rule set of bolt action versus dust. They just sort of approach it different. Okay, guys, well, that's me for the night. I'm so proud. I started the stream, I think, on time. It didn't dual stream me. That worked correctly. And I got a miniature painted, so that's just a whole lot of wins for the night. It encourages me. I've started a routine to paint on Thursdays. Oh, Paul, that's awesome. I still haven't painted Forbidden Power, and I have a Warcry box to start on. Yeah. So the thing, though, is if you are scheduling time, and you're dedicating it, and getting even just a little bit done, it's still getting stuff done at all, and that's huge. It's so easy to let stuff sit around and then, gosh, months, years can go by before you finish painting a model. Thanks for the video. Now go check on WoW. Yep, that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of the night. And tomorrow, look at the Nova releases. So thank you all for hanging out. I hope you guys got some good progress done tonight. And again, I really appreciated the chat. Always good hanging out with you guys. And we'll see you in a week. Bye.